Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Stanley. I am a wellness advocate, an educator, and a musician. And I'm making this segment today to talk about breathing, most importantly, breathing and how it might apply to, say, a wind instrument. I happen to play trumpet, so different breathing exercises have helped me quite a bit over the years. And it helps get me back to what taking a full breath feels like, but also helps me get to a place to where I'm doing it as consistently as possible. This way, I'm not worried about everything that's going on here and everything that goes out through my horn, an example. It becomes that more consistent just because of what I do with the breath cycle. The first exercise that I usually do to get a sense of pacing is called box breathing. You may have done this in many different fashions. It may have been called different things, but it works just how it sounds. You would inhale for a count structure. You would hold that inhale for a count structure. Exhale, same tempo, same count structure, then hold empty. Now, if holding an empty breath doesn't really feel quite good, or it's just something that it's not really your jam, don't have to do it. You can find ways to do count structures to where you're not holding the exhale or holding the breath in general. So it will look something like this. I'll count off 1, 2, 3, 4. In, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold. And it can go on and on and on and on. The main goal for it is pacing, maintaining the tempo that you set, but finding ways to get full completely and finding ways to exhale completely, as empty as you can get. This way you can know those two extremes. And through it, you're going to naturally find your pace, be it if it lies within a certain tempo. So you naturally take that same tempo whenever you take a full breath, regardless of what you're doing performance-wise. I could be playing something at over 200 beats per minute, but I'm taking a breath cycle in a way to where I'm taking that full and relaxed breath as a way to come back to what I do in box breathing. When it comes to relaxation, there's many different ways to approach, but it just deals with going back to that full breath cycle. Sometimes I'll just take a big inhale, big exhale, and just empty everything. I do it as much as I need and within reason. I try not to do it if, say, I'm in a rehearsal and instructions are being given, because taking a big exhale like that could sound like you're bored. It could also sound like you're frustrated about something. It could come off as rude. So I tend to reserve things like that where I'm sighing or where I'm exaggerating an exhale to when the context really just fits it. Essentially when I'm not around anyone or not in a place to where I could be misinterpreted. So there's a better rehearsal etiquette when it comes to this stuff too. The last thing I would like to leave you with is something endurance related. There is what is known as skull shining breath, Kapalabhati for the Sanskrit. And you could do it different ways. You could exhale mostly through the nose. You could also do this through the mouth if, say, you're congested. But it deals with taking a full breath in, then having very sharp exhales. That's through the mouth. I'm using my abdominal muscles, but I'm letting my body naturally work to push the air out without tensing up, say, my neck, tensing up parts of my head or around my ears. Through the nose, it might look like this and sound like this. This is very energizing, but if you do it for a while, you can get winded very quickly. So it's good for endurance. Being able to maintain a high stress level through the breath cycle, no matter what you're doing creatively, and if it happens to be in a performance, is extremely important. So those are my top 3 that I usually go towards and really revisit quite a bit whenever I'm doing maintenance, whenever I'm building, and whenever I just need a reminder.